So this next project is a picture frame. The final project should look like this. I'll show you a couple examples of it not quite finished. And the point of this project is to learn joinery. This is an advanced project and it's going to teach you precision joinery. You're going to learn 3 different joints. The first one that I'll show you is the mortise and tenon, and it fits together like that. The second is a lap joint where you rabbet out each side, goes together, and then you'll have 2 biscuit joints, which you just put a little slit in both sides and a biscuit goes in between, and that's how you join them. And the purpose of this is to just expose you to different types of joints so that in later projects you have options when you're putting things together. You're going to start out with 2 pieces of 2x4, 20 inches long, and then we'll take them over to the table saw and we're going to cut those down to a 7/8 inch thickness. So the 2 biggest issues with this project are making sure your angles are right and making sure your lengths are right. If your length is off, it'll cause your frame to be out of square and then your joints won't match up correctly. Same thing, if your angles are off, your joints aren't going to match up correctly either. It's a pretty straightforward project, and we'll show you how to make sure that those are accurate as you're going through the project. Okay, so we have our 2x4 material that we've cut down to 20 inches, and now we're over here at the table saw and we're going to cut it down to 7/8 inch thickness. We're going to set our blade height for half the distance of this 2x4, the width of this 2x4. So the 2x4 is roughly 3.5 inches wide, so I'm going to set my blade height for 1.75 inches. I could use my tape measure and measure up like this and adjust it, but it's easier to just put my tape measure on my material and mark at 1.75 inches and then lay it next to my blade and bring the top of the blade up to that point that I made on my board. All right, looks like we're good to go. I'm going to set my fence at 7/8. So something to be aware of is to sight down your board and see if there's a bow in it at all. And if there is, you want to put your bow where it curves out away from the fence, so that when you're running it through the blade, you can always keep one section as it's going into the blade flat against the fence. And then as it goes through, the end will curve out, but this point will always be flat against the fence. Make sure you have a push stick ready and next to you, as this is only 7/8 inches thick. Okay, so we've cut our boards down to 7/8 inch thick on the table saw. Now we're over here at the planer, and we want to plane them down to 3/4 inch thickness. You don't want to go below that because the final project needs to be 3/4 of an inch thick. On this one, you might want to grab a partner because you can send all 4 boards through at the same time and have somebody over there to catch them and hand them back to you. It'll take half the time to do it if you grab a partner. Okay, so we've run our boards through the planer. Now we're going to cut them to width. I'm going to set my fence at 3.25. This is about 3.5 because I want to take about 1/4 inch off one edge because 2x4s naturally have a rounded edge, and I want to remove that rounded edge, and then I'll cut this to width. So I'll run it through at 3.25, and then I will, once I've run both through, I will set my fence to 2 inches, which is the width I need my final board to